Hi, I'm Stuart from HiFi PiG. We're at Audio Show Deluxe 2025. I'm here with Tony Crocker from Swan Song
Audio, and we're here at HiFi Audio Show Deluxe demonstrating our headphones and small amplifiers. Thing that makes us different, and one of the things that makes us unique and why we're here is that we do everything with 3D printing. Whether it's our headphones or whether it's our amplifiers, we are into 3D printing because we feel that's kind of where things are going.
It's a very different looking setup. Who's your main market for this? Is it headphone enthusiasts, or you tell me who's the market?
Our main market is mainly people like yourself or my age that we can no longer move the 500-pound amplifier or the giant speakers.
Yes.
And we're looking for something that says, okay, I want the sound, I want the quality, but I want it to fit into my apartment. I want it to fit into my surroundings. Okay. So make it small, give me colors that are pleasing to me, that fit my needs, and I can do either headphones or I can do speakers. As you saw at Chicago, we had the tube set up there with our first set of omnidirectionals. The second set of omnidirectional, the second iteration, which is a little bit easier to assemble, is all printed and ready to be assembled. We've expanded our facility. We now have the ability to have 5 Project XL machines. They're a really big 5-head machine. And that's ready to go, and we'll be looking for a home in that in the fall. But again, with that, we're looking for something that is lighter, easier to move because it's 3D printed, and then doesn't force you into this particular sweet spot. Most speakers, are directional. The omnidirectional, your sweet spot is much wider.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can kind of walk around. It's a different sound, but it is similar to our headphone sound. And so I kind of feel that that's a good market for it.
Do you use wood at all in your headphones? You don't use wood at all in your headphones?
Oh, no.
No, it's all 3D printed, all from...
It's all 3D printed. The only thing that isn't, of course, is the screws, and then we buy our drivers. Our cables are Megami.
Okay.
But the entire is 3D printed, and it depends upon which headphone you get. So this one I brought down, this is the back. The front halves are all the same. They're all a 50-millimeter driver. They all have the 3D printed ear pad. That part's all the same. You change your back. This one has a little bit of wood, and that's rosewood. Then as you move to Explorer, you get a bigger with more wood, and the same with Ethereal. Now, today we have Explorer going, and Explorer is our bigger soundstage because we've gone there. We have a wood body instead of a printed body, and you're able to combine the olive wood for neutrality, the maple for your emphasis on your upper mid-range, and just a touch of rosewood to give you that little bit of richness. Now, that particular headphone is more dependent upon what you want to listen to. Great for vocals, great for Adele like it's playing, great for jazz, great for orchestral. Not so good, I don't think, for punk.
Okay.
Now, Ethereal, she's got the same size, and she's got the soundstage as well, but she doesn't have quite as much wood, and therefore lends itself to a bigger set of music.
You have a specific amplifier for the headphones as well, which you make?
We did. We brought our own. The reason we did that is if I go with another amplifier, then I have to worry about what does it bring to the table.
Okay.
When I design my own amplifiers and I control the whole chain, mainly, I don't control the iPad, but we're doing USB in. I have galvanically isolated USB DACs. What does that mean? USB, when it comes in, brings its set of noise from the switching power supply. It's inside the thing. It shows up with little blips here and there. Puritan Audio here has a great demonstration on that. And the galvanic isolation strips that off, so now I don't have to worry about that. I got a 24-bit, 192 kilohertz upsampling DAC. I don't care what you choose. I'm going to upsample it anyways. I know I've got an IDV volume control, convert the signal to current and then back to voltage. So I know what I got there. And then finally, I know I got a Class A output. So I know I've got do you need that for my headphones? No, they're 115 dB sensitive. But that's also the bad problem. At 115 dB sensitive, you hear everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether you want it or not.
So how powerful is the amp?
The amp does, in that particular configuration, does 6 watts into 8 ohms. As a monoblock, which I also sell it just means add more battery. That's all that means. It does 11 watts into 8 ohms, and that's actually what's at the Southwest Audio Show right now.
So feasibly, you could power sensitive speakers with that.
Oh, with that little guy, yeah. And if you say, hey, can you make that 8 watts instead? Okay, I would say, yeah, sure. I'm going to give you a slightly bigger box and just add more batteries. We can make it as powerful as you want. It's just how many batteries do you want?
Okay. And what other products do? You just do headphones and the amplifier at the moment?
And the amplifier at the moment, one thing that we don't advertise to people is we do cables.
Okay.
I've always made my own cables. I started out buying Norse and some of the others, and then for years I use a silver called Argentium silver. It's a mixture of germanium and silver, and so I twist my own silver and I make my own cables, whether it's RCA's or speaker cables. And so at Southwest they have a set of those here. There now for headphones, it doesn't make sense to make cables, but I just bought Mogami. Okay. Mogami is the quietest cable you can buy. It's just that's what makes sense.
And how adaptable? If I bought a pair of your headphones, can I tell you what color they are? What options do I have?
Right. So with the headphones, all the fronts are the same. And then you just are telling me which back you want. And by the way, once you buy one set of headphones, you say, well, I want to have the other model as well. Well, it's only another $200 because you're only buying a new back.
That makes sense.
So you just keep buying backs. And then you're going to say, okay, do I want it striped like this one? This one is done with a purple outer and then a purple and silver stripe. We have a series of colors that we work with. We like to use the darker colors for the main bodies because they're generally stronger. The lighter colors often are a product called silk. Silk, it doesn't have the same strength, but it's nice and shiny.
Okay.
But it breaks easier.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a list of colors, and if nothing's on that list that strikes your fancy, we just say, okay, Amazon.com, you pick your color, and we'll print it for you.
And your headphones look very different to normal headphones. There's no doubt in it, and we're obviously going to look at those in a short while. There'll be pictures up of those. What kind of feedback have you had from particularly people at the show?
We've got, I'd say 90% of the audience here, and they've been a great audience, are adaptable. And the fact that everybody is staying for at least 15 minutes. Yeah, typically in an audio room, I'm in and out when I go to listen. I know most people stay for a song or two. That's maybe 5-10 minutes. Yeah. They're staying for 15, 20 minutes. And that's why it's there's like this queue waiting to get into the room. They like the headphones. They like the sound of the headphones. The one thing that's the only negative they're going to give me, and I knew this coming in, is the pads are different. Most people are used to a nice squishy pad. What we were trying to do with my headphone is I wanted to make something that was between a headphone and a speaker. Okay. Meaning not the traditional headphone sound. Part of that is to get that sound to expand. Now, after 9 months of focus groups and people, we went through a lot of different pads, starting with squishy ones. Okay. They wanted a larger pad that fit over the ear and was very thin. That gave fast transient speed and good bass. Because if you think of a normal headphone pad, it's a thick donut. And if you read the patent on it, that pad was designed to absorb sound. Well, everybody's been using that same pad since the 1940s.
Okay.
Well, if it's absorbing sound from the outside, it's absorbing sound from the inside. Yeah. So my problem is twofold. One, I want to make sure, using speaker theory and horn theory, to expand that sound wave from a high pressure to a low pressure area, give it space to develop. That gives you a sense of scale. Then add the back. The larger the back, it's just like a speaker. The more cavity, I'm using a fiber driver, so which you would think of as particular like a paper cone driver, your standard driver, not a film. That's got a back wave. As it's working in that cavity, the bigger the cavity, the larger the sense of scale. Bigger speakers have more bass, more scale. Yeah. And so I'm trying to solve those two problems. If you look at it from those two problems, then you're like, oh, this is different.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of getting people to adapt. It's kind of like electric cars, getting people to plug them in.
Okay. How would you describe the sound of your headphones?
Big.
Okay.
Big and full range. My headphones, using test tones in just my ear, I can easily hear down to 30 hertz, no problem at all. Upper end, it's going to be as far as you want. It's a pretty flat curve.
Beyond hearing.
And then how you want them to sound beyond that is yours. And that's where the tonality comes in. The rosewood will go ahead and increase the emphasis on the lower mid, richer, darker. Okay. The maple's going to make it faster. And that's where we came up with Explorer. Explorer is a wood-bodied headphone, but it comes as a series of discs. And so you get olive wood disc for neutrality, rosewood disc for richness. You get a maple port on the outside for your transient speed, and also maple disc if you want. And then you assemble the disc, and you come up with your tone.
So the user can actually do that and play about them to get the sound that they like.
Sure. And if
How cool.
And if they started with transient, which was $2,350, it's just the other $200 for the backs. And boom, there you go, play.
So we're going to be reviewing your headphones and amp in the next few days. Janine is going to be looking at those for you. So we're very much looking forward to this and getting it out to our readers and showing them how different these headphones are. When we saw the your headphones, Swan Song headphones at Axpona, I think it was.
Yeah, we nicknamed it Stuart after you.
we were really, really blown away with how they looked and how different they looked. So when you said you accepted our offer to come to Audio Show Deluxe, it was I was really excited for the English audience to see them because they are so different and so interesting. And I think when you see the B-roll that we're going to do, people are just going to go, wow, that's such an interesting design. And I think the whole thing of the adaptability of the sound and the user being able to adapt the sound to their taste is very, very interesting.
And that particular headphone you saw was actually when we got back from Expo, of course, we made everything into a production ready phase. That was the first headphone I worked on.
Okay.
And that became ethereal. And one of the things I wanted to solve with that was the ports were on the outside, which means you got more noise from the outside. It was a printed port, just like a speaker. We moved the ports to the inside, stuck with a walnut, but then it became a bit dark. I thought, this is not going to do. So I went ahead and cut out the swan, our logo, and then cut the swan again in maple and inlaid the maple into the walnut and got that same sound that you had.
How cool.
But now the ports are on the inside, so you don't get as much outside noise.
Where does the name come from?
Swan Song Audio.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like your Swan Song, your last thing you want.
Okay.
Now, disclaimer, do you have a problem with Swan Song, the record company, or do they have a problem with me? Oh, yeah, they have a problem with me.
Okay, cool.
They have a problem with me.
That's Led Zeppelin's.
Yes.
Yeah.
The trademark and group in the U.S. said, okay, you guys can do this side by side, but you can't really be using your name Swan Song Audio on the front of everything. Well, we never did.
Okay.
It's always been the giant swan. And we've been showing for quite a few years, starting in Denver, and everybody knows us as the Swan Company. But part of Swan Song's trademark is S's in the shape of birds.
Okay.
Our swan is an S with 7 points.
How
But
cool.
they were so focused on the name, by the time they had an opportunity to complain that I was using an S,
They
in the shape
missed
of
the
a
whole
bird,
point.
They missed the whole point.
How cool. That's very
So
cool.
we said goodbye to them, and we've been there ever since.
So that's about it. Thank you very much for joining us at Audio Show Deluxe. It's been a delight to talk to you. And
thank you.
if you get a chance to hear Swan Song's headphones, get a listen to them. They are completely, and I mean completely different, both in looks, design, and how they sound. Thank you.
Thank you.